If you're a woman at any age, literally, you've likely grappled with how to get healthy and stay healthy. And we've all seen the headlines: lose 10 pounds in 20 days or drop 3 sizes by the end of the month. And it's so easy to get lured in, even when we know that these statements aren't actually true. So maybe you've tried a diet recently, or you can at least think back to one you did in the past where you actually remember it did feel kind of miraculous for the first week or two, and then it all fell apart. And guess what? You're not alone. At any moment, just over 50% of adults state that they are on a diet, which means that the other almost half of us are probably almost always in between diets, because this huge high percentage of adults admits to going on a diet about 4 times a year. So unless you are 1 to 2% of the adult population who has lost weight and been able to keep it off for good, welcome to the majority. You are part of the majority, the billions of people who are living with a struggle, who are having a sense of dissatisfaction with their body, with how much energy they have, with how their clothes fit, in general, with their life. And I know this because I've lived it too, and had for decades before I was able to find the way to get healthy and stay healthy. I'm Dory Danatel, and as a result of my own struggle, I'm now a functional wellness and fitness coach. And my work with women is dedicated to ensuring that each of us will heal from our dieting past and be able to step into our best life at any age. In this video, I'm going to walk through some of the lesser known reasons that people actually give up so quickly, and how you can access health, lasting health and wellness in a very simple and sustainable way. So you've heard it before, diets don't work. And yet, in a moment of self-loathing, feeling slow and sluggish, maybe having your clothes feel so tight, you kick yourself and you overreact. And you may take yourself right into a downward emotional spiral that in the past, historically, you have soothed with food, generally food that doesn't produce health, but only produces guilt. Or you go the opposite direction, where you throw all of the food that the diet gurus would consider questionable out in one fell swoop. So here's the deal: there's no need to go into high intensity. In fact, remember, eating is one of the most natural and normal things that we do. And we do this 3 to 4 times a day. We've made it difficult when it should be easy. Now, it's the stress that's been put upon us by the diet industry, and maybe unwittingly by the medical profession, even by wellness and health practitioners, and definitely by media and the cultural ideals that we're trying to live up to. So if you leave today with just one thing, one word, I want you to remember this word, and I want you to really put it in your mind: relax. This is a word around eating. Now, why would I ask you to relax around eating? Well, there are 5 hormones related to weight, and stress is the number one thing that really upsets the delicate balance of these hormones. The more that we diet and repeatedly feel that we're not successful at getting healthy and making it stick, the more stress that we have in general around eating. So, what do you do to relax around eating? Well, I'm going to offer you a couple of principles. 1, eat what is enjoyable when you're hungry and stop when you're not. I get it. It sounds way easier said than done, right? We've been taught actually not to do this when we diet. So we become disconnected from our body's natural signals anytime that we're following a prescriptive plan. In my one-on-one health coaching with clients, we work to build awareness around our food and eating. And really, this is often the very first step, and a very difficult one to work through at times, because we've done this prescriptive dieting for so long. It really is the first step to getting healthy and staying healthy. The good news is it's quite learnable. In fact, I would say it's relearnable, because we're all born with this ability. We know how to cry and get ourselves fed when we're babies. What also happens as we grow up is that our food becomes just kind of a habit, a go-to, a panacea, a solution for pretty much everything. In my signature program, some of the things that we work on is to really define the hungers or needs that we might have, especially those where food doesn't actually offer the best solution. So, for example, if I'm tired, then I'm hungry for rest, right? I want to feed myself not with food, but with downtime. So, this is a great, massive first step to de stress and relax around food. Second principle, be there when you eat. Sounds so obvious, but most of us in the modern day environment, we eat while doing something else. And even if it's just the food, something else is that we're getting the food ready, or we're trying to make sure the kids aren't fighting, or we're in our head and we're rehashing our day or planning tomorrow, we end up being not present, right? There's an easy way to know if you're an absent eater. I want you in the next day or two to take one meal or eating experience. It could be a snack. And what I want you to do is really focus in only on your food. And if you can do this on your own, where you're alone, that is even more helpful. So what does this look like? You're going to look at, what does the food look like? What is the aroma that I'm smelling? What's the texture? How does it taste? Do I like how it tastes? Now, many of you are thinking, no, doing this would be awkward or weird or boring, right? So if the idea of doing this feels totally uncomfortable, then it's likely that you no longer have presence while you're eating. And of course, some of you may be thinking, I wish I could be eating alone. I get it. I want you to know that you can do the exact same practice with a partner or with a child. This would be a very valuable thing to teach a child or a coworker or a friend. And basically, one of the meals that you have, just to even occasionally refocus on the food so that you can really see and connect with your meal. This idea of connecting with a meal, actually, science tells us, makes the food more nourishing, and it also nurtures us more. And that's just another way to lower stress while eating. So the final principle is measure what you must. So for many of you, all of this sounds really intangible and maybe a little woo-woo, but it also might be a little scary, like no tracking macros. Don't you calorie count? I get on the scale every morning. I can't do that. I'm not saying you can't. We like measuring stuff. Remember, we're trying to relax a little bit. So learning how to build true health and keep a hold of it, it actually doesn't require measuring every morsel or every moment. This adds stress. So I want you to look at and be honest about what all this measuring is about, what it's doing for you. Your must measures really are about your hunger and fullness signals. And then I want to have you add one more. I want you to add the measure of how satisfying your meal is. 1 to 10, 10 being the most delectable meal you've ever had in your life, or at least in a very long time. And you know what? When you're doing this, pay attention to your response, especially what's going on inside. The idea here is we've learned to live in constant worry over what we're eating, whether it's on or off our eating plan. We worry, we stress. Why? I mean, really, even when we're indulging, we end up ruining it by guilt, not just owning it. And this is the deal. Our health is not helped when we hate or dislike what we're eating. It is stressful to eat what we don't like or love, or to feel bad about eating what we do enjoy. So now I realize that many of you are thinking, way too simple. This is too simplified. Well, we've fallen prey to believing that eating for health has to be complicated, must be complicated. Think about the massive number of prescriptive diets out there, or maybe just the number of diets you've tried. It's probably, if you're anything like me, it's a lot. The diet industry will continue to produce new and inventive, complicated ways to reduce both our choices and our health. Because we know the diet industry is big business. And if what that big business sells us worked, they'd be putting themselves out of business. And we also know they're not doing that. That is a growing industry. So the first step in getting and staying healthy is to really learn how to relax and fully enjoy and embrace our eating experiences. And I hope that these simple and sustainable stress reducing practices can help you just start to alter your approach to eating and thus alter your health in a positive way. I want you to stay tuned for more videos and click to subscribe. Thank you.